Welcome to the Fatherhood Challenge podcast. The Fatherhood Challenge is a movement to awaken and inspire fathers everywhere to take great pride in their role and to challenge society to understand how important fathers are to the stability of an environment and culture. Are you a father? Then I am talking to you. Do you know who you are? You are a legend. And what do legends do? They leave a legacy. Those that leave a legacy define and change society around them. They change their culture. They change their moment in time. They change the future. You are a father, so you have that power, a lot of power. Take pride in that. Take pride in your fatherhood. In every episode, we're going to encourage and challenge each other to step up and do courageous things that make our families and communities better places. So let's get to it right now. Yes, let's definitely get to it. Thank you for joining me. I'm the founder and host of the Fatherhood Challenge. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Jonathan Guerrero. Now, before you even think of trying to pronounce my last name, most people have trouble with it, so that's okay. Most just call me Gur for short, as in G-R-R, so that's okay. I'll answer to Gur, Jonathan, or John. As it turns out, Guerrero is Spanish for warrior, and that's exactly how I view fathers and fatherhood. I'm happily married and a father of 2 boys. As of this year, they are 6 and 9. My beautiful wife is the founder and owner of her own private practice called Dreamweaver Therapy, PLLC. She does an amazing job of not only running her business, but keeping the household running like a business too. I am so proud of her and what she accomplishes daily. I look forward to introducing her in later episodes and talking about some of the things that she's doing. My youngest son has type 1 diabetes. This one's a tough one to talk about. He was diagnosed at the age of 3, and I plan to have an episode just dedicated to fathers and fatherhood with a type 1 diabetic child and fathers who have type 1 or type 2 and the challenges they face as a parent. It's hard. It's really challenging, to put it mildly. The sickness leading up to diagnosis, the sucker punch of hearing the words, "Your son has type 1 diabetes" from the pediatrician, and processing how that's going to change your life forever. Yeah, it's absolute hell. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But every day we fight, and as long as he's enjoying life, we are winning that fight. A bit more about me. I enjoy photography, video production, making music, and traveling. On the music side, I play the banjo, cello, guitar, upright bass, and the banjo. I enjoy arranging and composing music too. Every month I try to get in as many gigs as possible with family and friends and maintain practice time. Music definitely runs in the family because everyone in the family is learning some kind of instrument. The moments when we can all play together are joy. Okay, let's talk about the podcast. This was not my idea. It was my wife's. We were chatting in the van about something, and out of the blue, she said, "You should start a podcast about fatherhood." The silence was awkward, but let me tell you, it bothered me for the next day. There are some times when random things happen that you can't explain, and you just know that there's a higher power likely at work. Yeah, that was one of those moments. No matter how my brain tried to process her words, I could not find the will to walk away from those words, from that calling. It reminded me a little bit of the story of Jonah. I was scared of the mic. I've always been comfortable behind the scenes on productions, but never in front of a camera or a mic. I asked her why she suggested I start a fatherhood podcast. And she said because she had heard me express words of doubt in my ability to be a good father, and doing a podcast on fatherhood might help others with similar thoughts. Hey, let me tell you something. If you have a wife who is wise, then you are very well off, and you would do well to listen to her. I'm telling you, wisdom is more powerful and more valuable than anything. So when your wife is wise, it's better to listen and pay attention. Besides listening to my wife, why am I doing this? Let's look at some information from the Fatherhood Project. The Fatherhood Project is a nonprofit fatherhood program in the Department of Psychiatry at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts. Their mission is to improve the health and well-being of children and families by empowering fathers to be knowledgeable, active, and emotionally engaged with their children. Do you see how in their mission statement they are tying the active and emotional engagement of fathers with their children to the child's health? Let's look at some more statements from the Fatherhood Project. And I quote, "Overwhelmingly, the most current research shows that when children feel emotionally connected with their dads, they do better in school. They are less likely to use drugs and alcohol or suffer from depression, and they are more likely to become healthy adults. Studies also show that men who have warm, nurturing relationships with their children are themselves physically healthier, less depressed, and more successful in their marriages and careers." In other words, an emotionally close father-child relationship not only serves as a significant protective factor against high-risk behaviors, but it's also a potential source of health for the entire family, unquote. You can find all of this information for yourself at thefatherhoodproject.org. I will also post their links in the link in the show notes as well. Do you see how powerful you are? You heard my intro too. It wasn't fluff. It's backed by research. It's so important that I even made it the podcast intro, so you have to listen to it at the beginning of every episode to help your mindset. There are too many voices out there in society telling you you are not important, that your role is not essential. That is an absolute lie. Do not believe lies like this. I see posts all the time on social media that make fun of fathers or make light of their relevance and importance. The truth is, society can't even function without you. Without good fathers, societies collapse and generations upon generations are damaged. Take pride in your role. Step up and lead. Lead by example. On this podcast, we aren't going to stop there. Our goal is to be the best fathers we can be so we can give our best to our communities and society and make and leave our world better, more stable place. That is why we are here, and that's why this podcast exists. In upcoming episodes, you can expect to hear different perspectives and experiences of others. This will give you a deeper understanding and appreciation of fatherhood. I'm a man of faith, a Christian, and I believe strongly in the power of prayer. I don't care what denomination you are, all are welcomed. Prayer will be an important part of this podcast, and I believe that prayer is essential to being at your best as a father and a man, because both fatherhood and manhood are spiritually defined. You want to leave a legacy? It starts with you, and it starts here, right now. You want a better quality of life? It starts with you. It starts here, right now. You have to make the choice. Choose wisely. That's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. It's always good to have you here. Join me for the next episode as we build a legacy together.